The morning sun spills across the airbase, painting gold streaks over rows of modern fighter jets that gleam like blades, engines humming with pride and power. Young pilots strut across the runway, their laughter sharp and careless, the kind that comes from never having seen real war. But their voices fall quiet when the sound of an old engine rattles through the hangar gates. A jet, patched with scars and faded paint, rolls slowly into view. Its body looks ancient, its wings worn thin by time, and when the cockpit opens, out steps Captain Mara Steele, her boots heavy with dust, her flight suit faded but clean, her gaze calm and distant, like she's looking at ghosts. No one else can see. The younger pilots glance at one another and burst into laughter, calling her relics, asking if she got lost from a museum. One even jokes that her jet belongs in a scrapyard, not on a runway. Mara doesn't respond. Her silence cuts through their noise sharper than any words could. She runs her hand across the jet's hull, her fingertips tracing every dent and scratch like she's greeting an old friend. For a moment, her eyes close, and the air feels heavy, like the hangar itself remembers something. Across the runway, General Rains, the airbase commander, stands by the observation window. At first, he's just another spectator amused by the scene. But as he squints at the markings on the old jet's wings, his amusement fades. Those markings, the curved hawk painted in black and silver, they shouldn't exist anymore. His breath catches. He remembers classified reports, old missions that were erased from history, and a name whispered through the ranks: Ghosthawk. Meanwhile, the laughter grows louder around Mara, but she still doesn't move, her hand resting on the cold metal. A soft smile touches her lips, not out of pride or defiance, but out of memory. "Easy, old friend," she whispers to the jet under her breath. No one hears it, but for a brief second, the engine seems to hum in response, like a heart beating again after years of silence. The hangar lights flicker, the laughter fades, and somewhere deep inside the base, the past begins to wake up. That night, the airbase is quiet except for the soft hum of machines cooling down after a long day. The laughter from earlier still echoes faintly in Mara's mind, but it doesn't sting. She has been called worse before, and she knows that truth doesn't need to be spoken to be felt, only remembered. She walks alone through the hangar, her boots echoing against the concrete floor, and her eyes find the old jet resting under dim lights like a sleeping beast. Its nameplate worn down to a single word barely visible: Ghosthawk. Years ago, Ghosthawk wasn't just an aircraft, it was the heart of a secret program, a stealth prototype built for impossible missions that no one was meant to survive, the kind of jet that existed only in rumors, spoken of by pilots who claimed to have seen it vanish mid-flight, leaving only radar ghosts behind. And the one who flew it was known by another name: the Phantom of the Sky, a legend who had supposedly destroyed an entire enemy fleet to protect her unit, then vanished into the storm, declared missing. Buried in silence and classified files, her records erased. Her story turned into myth. General Rains still remembers those classified debriefings, the fragments of recordings showing aerial maneuvers so precise they looked supernatural. And as he reviews them that night in his office, his chest tightens because the flight pattern matches the one Mara once used during training. The same rhythm, the same impossible turns. He realizes that the woman they mocked might be the very ghost their history tried to forget. The next morning, the base wakes to a challenge. The young pilots, still proud, gather near the old jet, grinning as one of them smirks. "If your relic can even fly, prove it tomorrow." Mara looks up, calm as ever, and simply nods. Her silence makes them nervous. That night she climbs into the cockpit, her fingers flicking switches she hasn't touched in years. The panels light up. The air trembles, and a low growl rises from the Ghosthawk's engine, stronger than anyone expected. The lights dim and the floor vibrates. For a heartbeat, the entire hangar feels alive again, as if the jet itself remembers what it once was. Death in the sky, cloaked in silence, waiting for dawn. The sun rises red over the runway, the kind of dawn that feels like the world is holding its breath before a storm. The airbase is alive with excitement. The young pilots gather, confident and smirking, their new aircraft gleaming under the light, while Mara's old Ghosthawk sits quietly at the far end, paint chipped, wings scarred, its silence mistaken for weakness. But behind its dull surface lies something far older and far smarter than any machine they've ever flown. The training simulation begins, the sky roaring as engines scream to life. and within moments, the jets lift into the clouds, forming silver streaks across the horizon. Laughter fills the comms as the younger pilots taunt her, calling her Grandma Ghost, but Mara doesn't reply. Her voice finally cuts through the static, calm and low. Simulations start confirmed, her tone so steady it chills them more than any threat. The next second, her jet vanishes from radar. One moment she's there, the next, gone. The Ghosthawk disappears like a shadow slipping through sunlight. Where is she? One of the pilots laughs nervously, scanning his display. But before he finishes, a warning alarm flashes. Target lock, then a simulated missile hit. One by one, their screens flash red as Mara reappears behind them, diving, rolling, cutting through wind like the laws of physics don't apply to her. Every maneuver she pulls defies what modern jets can do. She uses the air itself like a weapon, anticipating every move they make. Their taunts turn into silence, then into panic in the control tower. General Rains watches the radar feed, his jaw tight, his eyes wide. Those flight paths, he's seen them before years ago. In black box footage from missions the government erased. She's not flying the jet, she's becoming it. The Ghosthawk's neural interface, once thought impossible, was designed to connect pilot and machine through pure instinct. And Mara is proving it still works. She is the last of its kind. By the end of the simulation, one by one, all other aircraft are down, and Mara lands smoothly, engines humming like a heartbeat. The young pilots step out of their jets silent, their faces pale. And for the first time since she arrived, no one laughs. The hangar is quiet, except for the sound of the Ghosthawk cooling, alive once more. The airbase falls silent as the simulation results flash across the main screen. Every pilot downed, every modern jet outmaneuvered by the woman they mocked. The rusted Ghosthawk stands motionless on the tarmac, steam rising from its wings like breath after battle. Mara steps out of the cockpit slowly, her boots touching the ground with the same steady calm she carried into the sky. No celebration, no smile, only quiet dignity. The younger pilots watch her in stunned silence, unable to comprehend how an outdated relic had humiliated their cutting-edge machines. General Rains walks toward her across the runway, his expression unreadable. The pilots shift uneasily as he stops in front of her jet, his eyes fixed on the faded insignia beneath the canopy. He reaches out, brushing away dust until the full marking is revealed. A dark hawk mid-dive surrounded by a silver halo. His breath catches as he whispers almost reverently, "That's the Ghosthawk." The words slice through the silence like thunder, and the younger pilots exchange shocked looks, some whispering in disbelief, others just staring at Mara like they're seeing her for the first time. One of them stammers, "The Ghosthawk? That can't be real, it's a myth." But Rains shakes his head, his voice low. It was real, and the pilot who flew it changed the course of a war. The world just wasn't ready for the truth. He turns to Mara, his eyes searching hers. "It was you, wasn't it? The phantom of the sky." For a long moment she says nothing, then removes her helmet, her short grey-streaked hair whipping in the wind, a faint scar running across her temple. "I flew her once before," she says softly, "and she's been waiting for me ever since." The general's hand snaps into a salute, the kind given not to a subordinate, but to a legend. Slowly, one by one, every pilot around them follows. Heads bowed, pride swallowed, respect earned the hard way. Mara stands there, her eyes distant, perhaps remembering the ones who didn't come back, the ones whose names were erased when Ghosthawk vanished. For a moment, even the wind holds still. The base feels smaller under the weight of what they've just witnessed. A legend standing in flesh and steel, reborn before their eyes. The next day, the air on the base feels different, quieter, heavier, as if every gust of wind carries the weight of something sacred that's been unearthed. Rumors spread faster than radio signals. Young pilots whisper the name Ghosthawk like it's both a prayer and a warning. And in the command tower, General Rains stares at the urgent briefing in front of him, a border conflict flaring up, enemy aircraft breaching the radar line, the nation's best squadrons already deployed, and none close enough to respond in time. The situation is desperate. He looks out toward the hangar where Mara's old jet sits, bathed in morning light, its once dull metal now glimmering faintly, the edges humming like it senses the storm coming. Rains presses the comm and says quietly, "Captain Steele, the sky needs you again." Inside the hangar, Mara looks up from her tools, her face calm but her eyes sharp with the fire of purpose. She runs her hand along the Ghosthawk's frame, whispering, "One last flight," and the jet seems to answer with a soft mechanical purr. like a heartbeat synced with hers within minutes. Alarms blare across the base. Crews rush out as the hangar doors groan open. The Ghosthawk rolls forward, the younger pilots watching from the sidelines. Awe and fear mixing in their faces. They've seen her power in simulation. But this is real. As the engines spool up, the air trembles, the floor vibrates, and for a second it feels like the past and present merge, the legend coming alive again. Mara's voice crackles through the comms, calm as steel. Ghosthawk 1, airborne. She pushes the throttle, and the jet surges forward, slicing through the sky with a roar that makes the very clouds ripple. Within seconds, she vanishes from radar. Just like before, control rooms scramble, trying to track her, but all they can hear is her breathing and the steady rhythm of the engines. She breaks through enemy formation unseen, her movements surgical, precise. Every maneuver a dance between instinct and machine. Missiles lock but never catch her. She's not flying, she's haunting the sky down below. The soldiers and pilots watch radar screens light up one by one as enemy signals blink out. Silence fills the room until Rains leans forward and whispers, "She's still got it." The battle ends as quickly as it began. No one sees her return, just a faint streak in the clouds. And then the Ghosthawk lands silently, smoke trailing from its wings. Mara steps out, her eyes distant, her expression unreadable. The younger pilots rush to her side, but she only smiles faintly. "The sky's yours now," she says, handing her helmet to one of them before walking away. The wind catching her hair as the sun breaks through the clouds, and the Ghosthawk glows in gold light, once again a myth, once again eternal, disappearing not in death but in legend. Because legends don't end, they take flight.